Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting.
A secret passage in the temple.
Our guardians have located the Heart, Master. Before the month is out, it shall be ours.
Do not underestimate the power of Mantarok, Warlock. Its power cannot be defined in terms you understand. For 7 centuries, its corpse has corroded your universe.
And during those 7, the denizens of the region have been either destroyed or driven away. There is nothing, no one to stop us from collecting it. Mantarok and its essence lie unprotected in the jungle.
Then waste no more time. Retrieve it immediately, and pray to me that you do. Time is running short, and without me, you are mere flesh and bone. Remember that.
Games, Brains Are Banging Life here with a episode of the Flashback series. We're going to the GameCube for a solo game that's not had a sequel, not had a remake, as much as they wanted to do it and talked about it over the years. And it's one of the few horror games that appeared on the GameCube. It is Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem, should I say. A psychological horror action-adventure video game developed by Silicon Knights, an old favorite of Damon there, and published by Nintendo. It was originally planned for the Nintendo 64. But was switched to the GameCube for development and released in 2002. While the game features similar gameplay mechanics to the likes of Resident Evil, it distinguishes itself with the unique feature of the Sanity effects. And across the game, you're taking the role of many different characters battling an all-powerful, like H.P. Lovecraft style kind of character thing. And as always, things we like, things I don't like. Favorite moments, scenes, and of course, bits of music. So you don't like this game?
It's not that I don't like it. I think it was very disappointing, and I think that for me that's the reason why we never got a sequel. In my opinion, I mean, in my opinion, I can't really see this game selling too. I mean, compared to, I mean, I read a review online about this game. Some idiot tried to compare it between Resident Evil and Silent Hill. That's what he put it. He put it in between those two.
Yeah.
And I laughed when I read it. I laughed. You're clearly an idiot. No.
I would certainly say that I would question how recently they played it and if they've allowed nostalgia to blind them to what is, I think, a good game and unique at the time, but hasn't aged well and has its flaws. Right, then do you what do you like about it?
I think well, I mean, it's got a decent story. Okay, I think it's got a pretty decent storyline. You know, it's very clever.
Yeah.
But that's my only like about the game. But obviously, a good story always makes a good game. You know.
So do you not like the sanity effects?
I think it's clever. I think it's very clever. But I just think that, I mean, it's hard talking about old games, you know, because obviously when you compare it to games you've got nowadays, when you look back at, you know, I mean, last time I played this game was probably about maybe 5-6 years ago.
Okay.
So I mean, obviously, I watched videos to refresh myself, and I actually have got the game up on my shelf.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's one of those GameCube classics, and there's not many GameCube classics.
Yeah.
But it is in that bracket. But I suppose the sanity effect was clever for what it was.
Agreed. For me, like, it was cool. We had a GameCube, and we were buying games for the GameCube, and we're both big fans of the GameCube, but we didn't get much games like this on the GameCube. So I think that was a major selling point as well. Would you agree with me as well that at times the game was genuinely scary?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, obviously, when that guy done a review about obviously Resident Evil and Silent Hill, obviously I thought it doesn't even compare to those sort of games, but it has its moments there. It makes you obviously jump scare, you know, obviously, and it has obviously, like, you know, your suspense moments.
Yep. Yeah, that's cool. You already mentioned the plot. I agree with you. I think the plot's quite good, actually. It's very big, very worldwide and encompassing, particularly because you play characters throughout time and history. So that adds an extra level to it as well. Do you remember much about these individual sort of character moments? Is there any that stand out for you?
I mean, the fact that as of right now, I can't really think of anything that stands out in my head tells me that it didn't really have much of an effect on me. For me to actually to actually have something standing out. So, I mean, like I said, it has been 5 years since I played it, and I mean, I watched probably an hour YouTube video of a guy going through it, and obviously it brought back memories. But I just thought that again, it's hard for me to judge because obviously it's been 5 years. But it's hard for me to judge because obviously it's been 5 years, and obviously my memory is just like, yeah, it's like the graphics are terrible.
But it's interesting you're saying it because it's nostalgia normally goes the other way, where as time goes by, you actually end up feeling quite more positive towards it. I'm going to mention two, and let's see if they sort of trigger it. Do you remember the Charlemagne the Frank part? Charlemagne in the church?
Yeah, okay,
that's a good bit. And Dr. Maximilian Roivis, who's like the great-great-grandfather of Alex.
Yeah, I remember the name, yeah.
Yeah, his segment ends with him being like locked away for being mad and stuff like that. They're my favourite. Right. All right, things we don't like then, although you've already fucking said basically all your ones already. I'm actually going to agree with you on the sanity parts. While initially kind of cool and interesting and clever and certainly very unique for the time, the more you played that game, the more you realised how little longevity they have and how, while there was a few, they become an inconvenience in the end. And by the time you're like 3/4 of the way through the game, you're kind of getting repeat ones and you kind of get annoyed. And I know some of them are quick. There are others that, like, I don't know, you walk into a room and everything's upside down.
Yeah.
You have to go to the door and it's like, oh, can I just get through this? And yeah, so I don't think they've got longevity either.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I mean, like I said, I think they just, in my personal opinion, I think and they just ran out of ideas.
I think they
Yeah,
can only go so far with it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, I mean, one of my, I mean, obviously, I've got many, but obviously, one of my dislikes is the fact that, like most horror games, like your Resident Evil, your Silent Hill, there's too many repeat of the bad guys.
Of course. Oh, yeah.
I mean, and it just gets so frustrating. I mean, well, you can say about any game, obviously. Like, I mean, even games like your Shadow Man, like, you know, it's the same enemies over and over and over again. And I know, obviously, that sort of game with the technology, they couldn't really do a big list of enemies and stuff like, you know. So I suppose, obviously, for what we had back in the day, it was a pretty decent game. But nowadays, you know, it doesn't obviously it doesn't compete with the world nowadays.
No, I agree, of course. And you already mentioned as well, like the fact you couldn't remember many of the segments. And I've just said that the varying quality between segments. So when I came to doing this part, I was like, what ones do I remember? I wrote down the ones I remember, and then I went and looked at all the segments, and there were quite a few. And I was like, holy shit, I don't remember any of these. And I played that game through to the end several times. So that says to me, they're maybe not as good as, you know, some that I remembered, like I did remember there was like one in the desert where he's going to get something for his bride and things like that really don't stand out at all. But there you go. Favorite moments, scenes, bits of music then? Do you have anything?
I mean, I can't really think of a favorite moment, but I mean, I remember the music. I remember the music is always a typical survival horror game.
Very gothic.
You know, yeah, gothic and suspense. You know, so the music was never an issue, but I just thought I always found that the game was very dark.
Oh, yeah.
I did adjust the brightness. I mean, you're always in your settings adjusting the brightnesses, but I mean, favorite moments, putting the game back in the box.
Oh, I've got some serious ones. Every time you go back to being Alex, and after you've done a segment, and the exploration of the mansion, and the more you uncover as you progress, I love that, where initially the mansion just feels closed off to you, and eventually as you find out more about our ancestors and things like that, you will open up more.
Yeah.
And I've also got, I don't know how much you remember this, right? But the times that you visit the underworld, and you have that visual of that massive subterranean city in the distance, that always gets the imagination going, man. Like, what is in that city? What lives there? What exists there? Love that. I love that.
I mean, like I said, I mean, I suppose that they could have used that for maybe a number 2, but I'm guessing it didn't sell very well.
I suspect it didn't sell particularly well either, or at least enough to warrant a sequel. We're now what, 18 years old game, and obviously often you hear the whole, oh, can we have a remaster or a remake, but nothing ever comes of it.
Why would they do it for? I mean, if it didn't sell back then, why would it sell now?
Well, yeah, you could say the same though about Shenmue, innit? The whole reason Shenmue never sold.
True.
So at least enough that he needed. All right, there we go. Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem. Let us know what you think of it in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon to help us out over there. That's patreon.com/GBHBL, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?